Yo, what's going on, people? I am Asher, aka Kanjo, and welcome back to my channel. I am here with another video, but first things first, before we get into the video, I'd like to say rest in peace to Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, who unfortunately passed away over the weekend. So, in honor of his legacy, his memory, the video I'm reacting to today is 10 greatest Bray Wyatt moments by Cultaholic Wrestling. If you wasn't aware or knew who Bray Wyatt was, he was a very creative individual, creative wrestling personality, and he didn't get to showcase the best of what he could do before he passed. He had great moments, real great moments, but unfortunately his time came and he didn't get to fully showcase everything that he could do. This is a passing that happened that really hit me. It hit me a bit hard, only because this is like the first passing since like Eddie Guerrero, that like actually meant. I'm not saying that everyone else that has passed away didn't mean anything, but because of what Bray's contributed to the wrestling industry, it hit quite a lot, because he was so young as well. He was 36 years old, so you know, we're gonna get into this video, watch this video, and we're gonna relive some of his greatest moments. So appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Make sure you hit that comment button, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and let's go.
As the world mourns the tragic passing of WWE star Bray Wyatt at the age of just 36, it is important to remember and look back fondly on his many amazing contributions to the wrestling business. A fiercely creative and utterly fearless performer, Wyndham Rotunda has left a legacy that is littered with incredible and unforgettable moments. Whilst we are saddened to know that we will never get to witness another, we are glad that he left behind so many for us to enjoy again and again. Please join us in celebrating the life and career of the incomparable Bray Wyatt. We'll miss you, Bray. Number 10, Bray Wyatt returns. Let's start with Bray's 2022 return, which was the culmination of much hype, speculation, and an inventive interactive campaign.
I think ever since Triple H took over creative and started like rehiring previous wrestlers, previous superstars, I feel like the Bray Wyatt rehiring and reintroduction was one of the best ones of this time. I feel like this return, as you can see, like the whole arena was lit up with like phone lights, just because of the mystique that Bray Wyatt had. I feel like this is probably one of the within the top 10 returns within WWE. I'm not gonna lie, as it progressed and started unveiling more about his return, like Uncle Howdy and stuff like that, I feel like it did drag on, but this return is probably one of the greatest returns I've seen while watching from the TV standpoint.
With Triple H taking over the creative reins from Vince McMahon, we immediately started to see some of the game's old favourites return to the fold, whether they were rehired or simply given renewed pushes. Encouraged to follow the mystery of the White Rabbit, viewers eagerly tuned in to the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, where it was hinted that Wyatt would re-emerge. With the show ostensibly going off the air, the lights went out and the weirdness began in earnest. With a recording of Bray singing "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands" playing over the arena's sound system, one by one, lifelike versions of the unsettling characters from the Firefly Funhouse were spotted at various places in the crowd. Then, after a little more hoopla, Wyatt appeared from the remnants of the Firefly Funhouse set, taking off a brand new mask and blowing out a lantern as the fans went bonkers. Only a character like Bray Wyatt could get away with this sort of extravagant production, but it fit him to a T and got his sadly all too short final run-off to a memorable start. Number 9, beating Cena at Extreme Rules.
This match, from what I remember, This was building up to their match for WrestleMania 30. And the ending of the match, I'm pretty sure he's going to go into it, but it was very weird. But like he just said in the previous take, that it only fits Bray Wyatt. Like anybody else that would or could or would try to pull off something like eerie or creepy, it wouldn't work. But with Bray Wyatt, it worked. He was essentially our generation's Undertaker. Like you couldn't put the Undertaker gimmick on, say, Triple H and say he's a dead guy walking to the ring and he's gonna take souls and stuff like that. But the way the Undertaker presented himself, obviously he's not a real dead guy, but you could believe for that moment that the guy's dead. You know what I mean? Like the same with Bray Wyatt. Like you could believe that he's this weird cult leader and he has all these like weird things that he's saying. Like you believe it. But yeah, not everyone can pull it off, and Bray was one of those people that can pull it off, just not like as well as others would try to pull it off.
Bray's first major test as a singles wrestler on the main roster was John Cena.
Wyatt,
as well as Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, had built up considerable momentum in their relatively short time on main. A program with the face that runs the place was an altogether different beast. Some were critical of Super Cena's WrestleMania 30 victory over the backwoods dweller, but defeat at the Showcase of the Immortals wasn't the end of the line for the Eater of Worlds, because he got another crack at Big Match John at Extreme Rules. Locked inside a steel cage, Wyatt and Cena were having themselves a hell of a fight, with Cena continually fending off interference of the rest of the Wyatt family members. It wasn't Harper or Rowan that he needed to worry about, however. A small child, who would be ordinarily kitted out in one of Cena's Neon Nightmare t-shirts, showed up and prevented him from exiting the cage door by freaking him out with a demonic rendition of "He's got the whole world in his hands." The description was enough to allow Bray to beat Sister Abigail and secure a key victory.
Look at him.
Number 8.
Look at the kid. Creepy kid.
The Firefly Funhouse match.
Creepy
6 years
kid.
after they first clashed, Bray and Cena reignited their rivalry on the road to WrestleMania 36.
I'm glad this match happened because Bray got his win back. Bray should have won at WrestleMania 30, but for this rematch to happen and for Bray to come out on top, good call.
By this point, Wyatt had transformed into the Fiend, and John was no longer WWE's marathon man, but on a part-time schedule and used only for special events.
Yep.
When COVID hit, WWE were forced to innovate and came up with a Firefly Funhouse match for Cena versus Wyatt on the oddest, grandest stage of them all.
Yep.
More in keeping with performance art than traditional professional wrestling, the Funhouse was unlike anything WWE had done before. A time-hopping head trip with nary a wrestling move in sight, the match saw Bray taunt Cena, who morphed into prior versions of himself. They even did an homage to their previous feud and imagined John Cena becoming a member of the New World Order. It was wild and wacky, and while it wasn't for everyone, it was certainly different and lingered long in the memory.
I liked it. I was one of the people that actually did like it. I thought it was different, it was weird, and what was happening at the time with like everything going on with like the dreaded C word, I feel like it was very creative and it worked. It worked. I got it. I liked it.
There were a lot of so-called cinematic matches during the pandemic era, but Cena and Bray's mind-bending jaunt through the Performance Center takes some topping. Number 7, winning the tag titles with Orton.
Yeah.
Though Bray debuted on WWE's main roster in the summer of 2013, it took him over 3 years to win his first piece of WWE gold.
3
and it wouldn't
years?
be with Rowan or Harper either,
It was
but
that long?
temporary honorary Wyatt family member Randy Orton. The new face of Fear and the Viper joined forces in late 2016 and took on inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions Heath Slater and Rhino at TLC. Kicking off the show, the match itself was really nothing to write home about, lasting a shade under 6 minutes as it did. But as a moment, it was a big one, and an important one for the career of Wyatt, who provided the distraction that allowed Orton to nail an RKO and bag the belts. The Orton-Bray saga would go completely off the rails in the months that followed, but it was compelling stuff initially, with this being one of the highlights. Number 6, Firefly Inferno. The pandemic magic was still in full swing.
Hold up, guys. Hold up. Something's just gone wrong, and we're gonna fix that right away. Alright, sorry about that.
An Inferno match, i.e. the first person to set their opponent on fire, wins. WWE attempted many wacky things during their extended residency in empty arenas, but none were as genuinely mad as what they did here. As an actual match, it's not exactly giving Flair vs. Steamboat any sleepless nights, but it was a visually stunning spectacle and features one of the most unforgettable WWE pay-per-view endings ever. Orton won the match by backing the Fiend into the flames, only for Wyatt to continue his pursuit before eating an RKO. The Viper then contemplated his next move before pouring gasoline on his stricken foe and lighting a match. Just completely mental on every level, enjoyable whether you were genuinely aghast or bursting at the seams from suppressed laughter. Number 5. Besting Bryan at the Rumble. The first time that Bray Wyatt really got to
I feel the Royal Rumble matches with Bray Wyatt, this one they're talking about now, was a good match. The second one they had was the strap match with The Fiend. That was a good match too. I feel like Bray's best matches, came at the Royal Rumble. He did have other great matches as well, but I think his two with Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble were two of his best ones.
Shine was during his feud with Daniel Bryan in late 2013/early 2014. Bray had seemingly recruited the American Dragon into the Wyatt family fold, only for the bearded wonder to famously rip off his boiler suit and break free from their clutches. Well, the Eater of Worlds wasn't going to let that one sit, and the big grudge match was booked for the 2014 Royal Rumble. Opening the show in style, the two men had an exceptional back-and-forth contest that would remain one of Wyatt's best. Bryan was riding a serious wave of fan support at the time, and the Bray Wyatt character was still very new, giving the match a lot of crowd heat and a fresh feel.
Yeah.
As for the result, it really could have gone either way, and that would have been just fine, but Bray got the nod and put the bearded wonder away after a Sister Abigail into the ringside barricade, followed by another in the ring. Stealing the show in the opener and getting a major singles W. Not a bad night for the man of 1,000 truths, all things considered.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Fiend's debut. While his tag team with Broken Matt Hardy, the Deleters of Worlds, was a fine mid-card distraction, it was clear that Bray could do with a direction change sooner rather than later.
I think he actually got injured. That's why their tag team broke up with Matt Hardy and Bray, which was a good tag team, by the way. It was very entertaining. But I think he got injured, and then that's when he came back with The Fiend, which was one of the best gimmicks I've seen. The entrance, the backstory to what The Fiend is or was. It was great.
Once the team had run its course, Wyatt took a little vacation while new vignettes began offering a peek into Bray's Firefly Funhouse. Initially appearing as a Mr. Rogers type host, the vignettes took a very dark turn as the Fiend was introduced to the world. After playing for weeks and weeks, fans became invested in seeing how it would all shake out in the ring as Wyatt targeted Finn Balor and was booked against the first ever Universal Champion at SummerSlam 2019. The Fiend's proper in-ring debut would have to be handled perfectly after such a long and careful build, and thankfully WWE, as well as Bray and Balor, got it spot on.
Yeah.
The entrance was hair-raising and the Fiend's appearance was genuinely disconcerting, like a horror movie villain come to life. He made quick work of his very generous opponent too, setting the right tone from the off. Number 3, Supremacy over the Shield. The Wyatt family were lucky enough to arrive in WWE at the same time that another awesome faction, the Shield, were establishing their dominance. Hitting that sweet spot right as the Wyatts were starting to really get over, and not too terribly long before the Hounds of Justice imploded, WWE booked the big showdown between the two warring stables at 2014's Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Watching it all unfold, you could immediately see that this was something truly special. The crowd were electric electric from before the opening bell rang and maintained their enthusiasm for the duration of the near 25-minute barn burner. In any event, the six-man was a real chaotic scrap that featured a little bit of everything for everyone and allowed all the participants to shine, especially Bray though, who scored the decisive pin on Roman Reigns. Amazingly, WWE booked the match to end pretty much the same way in the main event of Raw a few months later, with Bray again pinning the big dog to establish his trio's supremacy. Number 2, Bray's Elimination Chamber WWE title win. The Elimination Chamber event had to hold a special place in Bray Wyatt's heart. 3 years after he, Harper and Rowan beat Rollins, Reigns and Ambrose in an instant classic, the Eater of Worlds received a shot at the WWE title in the show's eponymous match. John Cena was defending against Wyatt, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, The Miz and Baron Corbin inside the unforgiving steel structure, with Bray entering the fray as the 4th entrant. This was his first crack at the WWE title, believe it or not, his only previous shots at any sort of world title coming in the 2014 Money in the Bank ladder match and in the 2016 Royal Rumble. This Elimination Chamber match was a scorcher and really saved what had been a humdrum pay-per-view, with the 6 men going all out for close to 40 awesome minutes. After the champ was surprisingly eliminated, it came down to Wyatt and Styles, with the phenomenal one eventually succumbing to Sister Abigail and Bray securing his first major piece of singles gold. His reign didn't last long, ending at the hands of Randy Orton at WrestleMania 33 just 6 weeks later, but the moment he won the title was still one of his best. Number 1, the Wyatt family debuts. The first time we saw Wyndham Rotunda on WWE television, he was a million miles removed from the iconic character he would morph into. It took a couple of years in NXT for him to transform from Husky Harris, game show hopeful and member of the new Nexus. While in developmental, Rotunda crafted the Bray Wyatt persona, with he and his family quickly becoming a leading act for the black and gold brand. Like many others before and after them, their fortunes could have easily changed with their call-up, but mercifully, WWE got it right from the get-go. After the vignette treatment helped tease their impending arrival, the Wyatt family surfaced on the July 8, 2013 episode of Raw. Bray cut one of his customarily creepy promos from a rocking chair, which was played on the big screen before he, Harper and Rowan came out and attacked Kane. Bray himself didn't do anything physical to the Big Red Machine, letting his larger enforcers do the damage while he observed approvingly. Nonetheless, it was a powerful first main roster appearance for a character who, in the decade that followed, experienced a lot of creative ups and downs, yet always retained his special aura. There will never be another. Rest in peace, Wyndham.
Yeah. I probably would have put the championship win first and then the Wyatt debut second, in my opinion. But either way, nonetheless, it was a great video, great list. Like I said at the start, rest in peace to Bray, Wyndham Rotunda. Gone way too soon, and as you saw in that video, he had a lot of great moments. It's just a shame that he's not here to make any more of those great moments. But yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment down below what was your greatest Bray Wyatt moment that you remember. And yeah, I'll be back again with another video very soon. But until next time, love is love, peace, and everything like that. Yeah? Alright. Yeet.